I was totally wrong about the Machine Master playstyle. This was the last skill tree I invested in, and during my best armor video when discussing the Tanact Tactician armor, I was like, okay, but who cares about overriding machines? Like, there's no reason to use this playstyle during the main story or many of the other side activities, but if you go out of your way, you got something super special here. The main thing I love is that you can basically have a machine pet with you all the time that you can also summon out of thin air. Where in Zero Dawn all the mounts were not very capable in combat, now we have the bristlebacks and claw striders we can mount, and that can also help us out during a fight. Now you need to unlock a skill first. They will automatically be on defensive, meaning that they won't do a lot in combat, and also ignore the special target arrows you can shoot with the Deathseeker's Shadow Hunter bow from the arena. But with the override subroutine skill unlocked, you can change machines to aggressive when you override them, so then they will just fight everyone they see, and in the case of a mount, this means that they will help you out in combat, but also react to a target arrow, so you can mark the machine you want them to attack, and again, you can just summon this machine, this combat companion, at any time during any encounter. And also amazing is that if your mount was very low health during the previous fight, then the next time you summon them after fast traveling, they will be full health again. So I don't think it's worth spending shards on healing them. When they go down during combat though, you have a small window to revive them, which might totally be hard against tougher machines, but using a smoke bomb or two, depending on your difficulty, gives you a nice window so the mount can help you out in combat again. With this tactic, you're never alone, and these machines can also sometimes lure the attention away from you, so you can focus on the weak points or have more time to use a heavy weapon. Also satisfying is to override another machine first and then summon your mount, so then you very quickly have two machines fighting for you. Good to know though is that if you override a new mount type machine before you summoned your previous mount, then that new machine will turn into your current mount. So you can't really do this tactic anymore. And maybe you already noticed that the insane damage that your Elemental Claw Strider can do, even on the very hard difficulty. So we'll share way more tips for this Machine Master playstyle. Of course, if you like the video so far, then leaving a like on it would really help me out. And totally subscribe if you haven't already, because I got way more Horizon videos coming your way. Maybe you already know, but at this spot on the map, there are two Tremor Tusks, so you can override one and then have him take out the other one for you. A really nice tactic to get those machine kills without really doing anything yourself. But as you might have noticed, I have no timer running out for these overridden machines, and that's because I'm using the Tanact Tactician Legendary Armor, which upon wearing already gives you the Lasting Override +2, and that combined with the skills in the skill tree make sure that any machine you override will stay by your side forever. Now of course the downside is that they will not follow you everywhere and mostly stay at their own spot, their own machine side, and that's why that mount tactic is really amazing, because then you can summon a machine everywhere. But still, not having to worry that a machine might out of nowhere turn against you is great. Now if you don't want to wear the armor but still want to have an unlimited time for these overridden machines, then you can also upgrade the Tanact Dragoon, a very rare armor, which you can buy over here on the map. If you upgrade that to rank 3 at the workbench, you can put an everlasting override mod on any outfit you want, so then you also remove the timer on overridden machines. Still though, the Tanact Tactician Legendary Armor is better than you might think, and I will tell you why in a moment. First, before I forget, some general tips about the Machine Master playstyle. You of course need to complete all the cauldrons in the game to unlock a lot of the machine overrides, and I will leave a link to all the locations in the video description. And new is that some machines require extra materials, which you have to spend at a special table in your home base. So take care of that to override more machines. And then you can get out of your way to buy that legendary armor at Thorn Marsh. For this you need to kill an apex Slitherfang, so of course switch the game to nighttime to find them at a Slitherfang site, and they can get the armor, and this will make your machine companions way stronger, but Aloy as well. But let's focus on the machine first. We got extra elemental damage, so that's why I prefer the acid or fire Claw Strider. Especially the fire one will just randomly shoot out fireballs to machines. And again, also against larger machines. So elemental variants are great for their ranged attacks, but also this increase in damage, which is next to the overall machine damage increase this armor unlocks as a mod. Like, that combination really makes you surprised every time your machine attacks. With the machine health, a skill on the armor, they also won't die as fast, especially when just fighting one other machine. Like, it's really amazing. And by the way, tried the bristleback as well, which can be nice when fighting machines. Good boy, but when you're actually riding a bristleback and they get hit, they will do this heavy attack that takes a really long time, and then Aloy is like moving, so that's not really ideal. Now overall, for a mount machine companion, I would recommend the Fire Claw Strider, which you find over here at the Frost Claw site. And by the way, another way you can use the Machine Master playstyle is by riding a mount and then using the R1 light and R2 heavy attack. This will not only deal damage to the machines, but also knock smaller and medium machines on the ground very often, so they can get off your mount for a critical strike. You can then also put the critical strike +2 mod from the legendary warrior armor on this for extra damage, because the low profile mod on this armor is not really needed, because you can pretty easily just sneak up the machines, especially if you use the tall grass. You can also use the Stealth Stalker Valor Surge, by the way, to, more easily sneak up the machines and override them before the combat starts. But I would argue that staying on your mount, even when the machine falls down, is really smart. Put some knockdown damage mods, which you can buy at the arena vendor, by the way. Put them on your weapon. You can, by the way, only buy one, I think, but that will increase your damage to the machines that you push down very easily. Scorchers are normally a pain, but not with this Machine Master tactic. You can very easily take them out. And by the way, also pro tip is to enable the auto run mount feature in the control settings, so you always go faster on your mount without having to hold X all the time. Now sure, staying on your mount and using their attacks is not really smart against the bigger machines, because they usually have some close ranged attacks. Sometimes you can absorb them thanks to the extra machine health you have with this armor, but mostly it will not end well. Luckily though, this armor is still great for bigger machines, and that's thanks to the mounted archer skill, which you unlock after upgrading the armor. This is at level 4, so with the skills in the skill tree unlocked as well, increase your damage while on the mount by 50%. So yes, this is wild when fighting machines that are laying on the ground, or when fighting machines in general, but also when engaging larger machine fights. If you use this in combination with a sharpshot bow, for example, you have an insane damage increase. You cannot use a Valor Surge on your mount, but you can use it before going on your mount. So if you do the power shot and then go on your machine, you have the 200% damage increase from this ability and the 50% from the mounted archer. So what you see here is just wild, and you can combine this with any other weapon. Now, I'm not sure if there's a mounted archer weave, because that would be insane. Then we can have this damage increase on any outfit. Of course, if you found it, let me know in the comments down below. I had no luck so far. So then you could argue that even for ranged playstyles, this Denuct Tactician armor is insanely good. Now, there are totally some issues with this playstyle. Like, I encountered the most bugs ever when playing this game while trying the Machine Master. There's also a bug where if you revive your mount and then it gets up, but then a machine kills it in that process, then instead of dying, the machine will stay alive, but it cannot be mounted, or I think cannot be killed. Another major problem with this playstyle, and this is not a bug or anything, but in the Forbidden West, even regular machine sites will have these apex variants. I'm seeing them a lot during day now too, and you cannot override these. So that really limits the Machine Master playstyle and makes it way less ideal. Sometimes you're looking for mounts, but you only see apex variants and you're like, okay, I have to go back and check on another site. Of course, if you found anything cool in Horizon, let me know via the input@joraptor.com email address. I will go more in depth on more builds and playstyles, keep you up to date on all the Horizon news. So subscribe if you haven't already. A like on the video would really help me out. And don't check out my previous video with other endgame tips by clicking on the screen. Another build. We'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.